we are back. We're gonna move into some basketball talk. Still,
Knicks, baby.
you could say call it fallout. Still fallout from the other team in the city, Brooklyn Nets blockbuster trade for
James Harden.
And we still want to talk about it a little bit. We want to discuss some of the expectations for all of the teams involved in the trade. So we all grab some teams and we're gonna discuss what we think are expectations, and I guess debate if someone else disagrees with you. So I guess we'll start with the team that made the biggest part of the trade, James Harden being added to the Brooklyn Nets.
Big splash. It's repeats itself again. The Nets are doing everything within their power to make sure that they have a chance at a title run. Last time they did it with the players outside their prime, NKG and Paul Pierce, teaming up with Joe Johnson and Darren Williams. But now they got three of the best players in basketball, in my opinion, and James Harden, Kevin Durant, and Kyrie Irving. All three are three-level scorers. They can score at all three levels: mid-range, in the basket, behind the arc. I think that they have a lot to work on as far as chemistry, but some of those chemistry things between players, when it comes to KD and James Harden, is not really a chemistry thing. If you've seen them play the last two games, James Harden had no practices with the team, and he looked like he fit right in. He made everybody better. It's going to be different now. And they won against the Bucks, and they won against another team before that. So I feel like the change that's going to happen is going to be, I see Kyrie playing more off ball. He's more as short as he is. He will be a traditional point guard if we're looking at point guards in the traditional sense and height and weight. He would be a point guard, but his game fits more of a two guard. He is a scorer. Yeah, so Kyrie's going to have to change his game. He's going to be more of a two guard than a point guard. As you see, James Harden is more a facilitator. He's averaged double-digit assists throughout his career. Kyrie has never done that throughout his career. So with that being said, you can tell that his tendencies is to shoot more than in order to pass. And also, when you looked at the OKC games tapes, you've seen that when in the fourth quarter, when it came down to who's handling the ball, if you really watch those tapes, James Harden became the point guard and Russell Westbrook became the two. Look at that tape. And I think that that's going to be the biggest adjustment for all. I don't think that's a big adjustment for Kyrie. I've seen him now in his Nets offense. He comes off of pin down screens. I see him go to the high post as opposed to always being on the perimeter. He moves well without the basketball. I've seen him do backdoor cuts. Like I don't feel like that's going to be a big change. It's just a lot of ball. I mean, a lot of personnel and not enough ball. I don't think that's going to be a problem, especially in the Mike D'Antoni offense, where they pass the ball around the arc. And they have space to shoot it. My thing for this is now they become a small ball team because now they lost what's his name, Jarrett Allen. So is Kyrie going to be? I mean, is Kevin Durant going to be playing a 5 more? Can you see a Kevin Durant being a 5 and seeing a Jeff Green be a 4 and playing those type of lineups? That might ultimately work against them if they're playing a bigger team or a team like the Lakers, who has those bigs that actually are true bigs, right? And what happens if DeAndre Jordan get in foul trouble? What happens if KD get in foul trouble? Then what type of gameplay you play? So expectations for me, I still got the Nets making it to the finals. I see Kevin Durant in the MVP contention, if not the MVP this year, even though he's coming off of Achilles injury. And I see Brooklyn and potentially LA and the NBA finals. That's what I see with this trade.
Is that a win the finals or does that get it in the finals?
I think they had the potential to win it all, honestly. To win it
all.
Is
the expectation to get in the finals or to win the finals?
The expectation, I see what you're doing there, Chad. That's good. The expectation is to be in the NBA finals. And if that's as the season goes, we will revisit this subject.
You will revisit this subject. There is absolutely, positively nothing for me to revisit here. Absolutely, positively nothing for me to revisit.
Can I ask you?
Go ahead, Rob. You go first.
Before the James Harden trade, would you not say that the expectation for this Nets team
What's to go to the
What's to
finals?
go to the finals?
It's absolutely to
Go to the finals. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay, so
Before James Harden.
So would you say that, you know, if you added one of the, like you said, one of the best players in the NBA, right? MVP, all of that good stuff, the expectation doesn't get raised a little bit?
Expectation gets raised. They are expected in the Nets franchise. I'm thinking they're expecting them to win the NBA.
I know what, I can't do this. I cannot do this.
I
am sitting across from John, Kevin Durant, Hunter, and having to say, I'm exiting this out, and having to say that they should make the finals. This is the same man that was riding Golden State when Kevin Durant was there. LeBron this, LeBron that. He won't this, he won't that. He can't this, he can't that. Now Kevin Durant's with two other dogs. So before I even get to what I was going to say about the Nets, my question to you, John, are you saying that Steph Curry and Klay Thompson is better than Kyrie Irving and James Harden?
This is what I don't like. This is going to go to my next one. I can't wait till we get to the next segment. The difference between Kevin Durant and LeBron James is that Kevin Durant let his game speak for himself. Y'all know who I am. You know who I am. I
asked him a very specific question.
This is the difference.
I asked him a very specific question. And he went to Kevin Durant.
You did.
You asked me. No, you compared. You compared Kevin Durant to LeBron James.
That's not my question. My question is James Harden and Kyrie
Irving
expected
to go to the finals
better than Steph Curry and Klay Thompson, because you didn't expect them to go to the finals. You expected them to win the finals. There's a difference there. You expected that Kyrie, you expected that KD team to win the finals. Now you're telling me after the team that was already projected to be in the finals from Brooklyn, we've been talking about them for 2-3 months now, just being in the finals. They add the best scorer of the last 3 years in the league.
2 MVPs, yeah.
A two-time MVP. No, he's not a two-time MVP. He's a one-time
MVPs.
You got I'm talking about just James Harden. I'm talking about just James Harden. I'm talking about just adding James Harden. I'm not talking about they already had Kyrie and Kevin Durant. We expected them to go to the finals then, did we not? When they had Spencer and Jarrett and Caris. Now they removed those guys and added the top 5 James Harden. And you telling me that you don't project them to win the finals? So what is it about James Harden and Kyrie Irving that's different than Steph Curry and Klay Thompson in your eyes? That's my question. What's the difference?
I feel like the difference is, number one, that Klay Thompson and Steph Curry have played with each other for multiple years before Kevin Durant being added to the mix. This is a different team. This is a team that is now being gelled together at the same time. So you're asking me, am I expecting them to go to the finals? I expected KG, I expected Paul Pierce, and I expected Ray Allen to go to the finals. Did I expect them to win the finals? No, because I feel like it takes more than a year for a team to gel. That's my opinion. So you're expecting them if they do win, then it's like they earned it.
I'm sorry, man.
I'm back into quarter. So are you saying that you're expecting them to lose to LeBron James?
I'm not expecting them to win. I'm not expecting them to lose. I am expecting them to be there.
I'm sorry, man. If you add the hottest, most this is probably the biggest trade that we've seen in the last few years. As far as biggest name being the MVP in his prime, right? And you add him to a team that already has 2 perennial all-stars, 2 perennial all-pros, 2 guys who can get it done, who you say can win a championship.
Who champions?
Who you can say? You say that the expectation isn't raised.
Champions.
I'm sorry, John. When LeBron James came to the Lakers, my expectation was championship.
Championship.
It wasn't get to the finals. It wasn't compete. When we didn't get to the finals, he failed. Granted, we didn't make the playoffs, but when he got there, he got the chip with less. So, John, I don't know. I'm going to pump the brakes, man. My expectations out of the Nets is that they win a championship. You don't trade 7 first-round draft picks to get to a finals. You don't do that. You trade 7 first-round draft picks to win a finals.
Facts. But our producer's telling us we gotta move. We gotta move on. Rob, tell us the expectations for the Rockets, who
listen,
I guess would be the highest beneficiary outside of the Nets when it comes to the future.
I guess you could say that. I mean, for me, I still like this Rockets team. I still think that they have a chance and the opportunity to compete in the Western Conference. My expectation of them is for them to be at least the 7th or 8th seed in the West. I know, right now they're like 4-8 and like the second worst record in the West right now. But if you look at it, they're only a game and a half back from the 8th spot. You know what I mean? So I think that the Rockets will essentially have addition by subtraction, even though they did add Oladipo in there, which is a great little move for them. I think he's on a contract here. He's going to want to ball out with the addition of John Wall and DeMarcus Cousins. And Christian Wood has been low-key one of the biggest offseason free agent sleepers we've seen in a while. So I expect this Houston Rockets team to compete for a 7th, 8th seed. I actually do expect them to make the playoffs, but definitely compete for the final 2 spots.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think that the Rockets have quietly put together a respectable roster. I'm a little not ultimately bitter towards James Harden. I'm really not, but more or less his words when he said that they don't have a team to compete. If you're the superstar with those type of people on a roster, if that team is healthy, I think they are a team that could have competed with the superstar like James Harden on their team for a championship. Maybe they wouldn't have been the front runners. Maybe he's sick of always being the dark horse. And then when the dark horse doesn't make it, it's like all eyes on me. Like, bro, I wasn't the best team in the first place. I can understand that. But I think the Rockets, for what it's worth, losing James Harden, but adding Christian Wood, Victor Oladipo, John Wall, and DeMarcus Cousins, while still being able to keep, young talent like House, who I was talking about a lot last year, old veteran talent like Eric Gordon. They're not that bad of a team. PJ Tucker's pretty solid. So I think my expectations for them are kind of aligned with yours, Rob. Low fighting for them. I wouldn't be upset with them if they didn't make the playoffs though. If everybody was healthy, maybe. Mm-hmm. But again, this is John. The true star to me is John Wall. If you can if you can turn John Wall and Victor Oladipo to something similar to what it was with John Wall and Brad Beal, and add the help of a 20-point scorer in Christian Wood, hopefully a 15-point scorer in DeMarcus Cousins, I think you have something there.
I'm sorry, Ty. True star of this team is Christian Wood. It's not John Wall.
For the first 10 games.
And this is what I've been saying. And I told Rob this. We had previous conversations. I said I like Houston Rockets. I like the potential of them. But we have seen Boogie go down. We've seen John Wall go down multiple years. And now John Wall is out again. So with that being said, do I believe that the Rockets can make the playoffs? Yes, if everything is healthy. Is it a possibility that they don't make the playoffs, given the fact that we know John Wall's health history? We know Boogie's health history. I've actually watched Boogie, and it looks like Boogie, his prime is behind him. And that's just me being honest. He's not the guy over there. The guy right now is Christian Wood. The guy that's going to be second in line to me is going to be Victor Oladipo and then John Wall. Like, that's how I'm seeing the game, just in my perspective and watching the games that I've seen them. And with that being said, it wouldn't surprise me if they don't make it, and it wouldn't surprise me if they do make it. It just depends on the health of the team. Like, really, that's the X factor of everything. If they are healthy, to me, they will be a playoff team. If not, then they will be out to sea. They will be looking out.
Right. Moving on to Indianapolis, Indiana Pacers, who on the surface look like they may have caught the sour apple situation of the deal with Caris Lavert. They found a mass on his kidney, I believe. He was expressing earlier, I believe that was today or yesterday, that this may have been the most important move of his life because it's something that wasn't detected and probably would not have been detected if he didn't need this physical with that trade. But Indiana will be playing without him right now until further notice, as well as, Victor Oladipo being traded. So they don't really have a piece that comes with that trade. However, it's the Pacers, bro. And the Pacers are a blue-nosed team that will hover around 500, beat the teams they're supposed to, compete against the teams that rosters are stronger than theirs. And I think they'll be in the hunt. I think the East should be better this year, but a lot of the East are middle-dwelling teams that can either A, go on runs, B, lose one guy and look totally different, C, just not have it for a couple of weeks, and that's the majority of the Eastern Conference. So I think they can wade water, they can tread water until they get a guy like Caris Lavert, and they have Sabonis, who's an all-star. They have other players. They have a new coach. And they're doing that now. Coach treading water. So I think if Caris Levert can get back to that team, I think he's going to be a big piece there. I think he's ready to be the guy somewhere, or at least the second guy, a perennial star caliber player. So I'm interested in seeing that. As for Jarrett Allen out in Cleveland, look, man, Nets fans, Jarrett Allen was a net favorite. And not only was he a net favorite because he was fun-loving, he was a city guy, but dog, in his first starting game, he gave you 18 and 19. He's a dog. He's only 22. I think Cleveland is opening this up for possible not trade bait, but maybe they can make a move with Kevin Love or Andre Drummond and move one of those big contracts. And who knows, man? You can sign a guy. I mean, we're talking about a team that gave Tristan Thompson the bag. I think Jarrett Allen is a lot more talented, and for lack of a better word, he's a bigger center than Tristan Thompson was. So I think he can be a cool addition to that team. I like the youth with Colin Sexton and Darius Garland. Larry Nance is having not that bad of a season. Osman is inconsistent, but he's getting a lot more minutes. So there's potential there with Cleveland. Cleveland is another one of those teams that right now are treading water, 6-7, 7-6. They were toe to toe with the Nets tonight. I'm not exactly sure how that game ended, but there could be potential out there in Cleveland as well. So I think, for what it's worth, all of these teams got good pieces. The expectations are definitely higher for the Nets than anyone else, but I think all of these teams can be playoff contending teams. If I had to say one that would miss the playoffs, it would be Cleveland over the Rockets. But yeah, I think they're all contending teams personally.
Yeah, I'm not
contending to make the playoffs. Excuse me, I don't want to.
I'm not a big fan of Cleveland. I don't believe
right now. That's the funny part.
That again?
I'm not a big fan of
Cleveland.
Cleveland.
So of these 4 teams, John, how many of them do you think will be in the playoffs when it's all said and done? Definitely the Nets.
Nets, Pacers, Houston.
So if you were a betting man, you'd bet Houston in.
I would bet, depending on health.
If you were a betting man, I mean, you can't,
If I'm a betting man, I wouldn't bet.
So you wouldn't bet Houston. So you got 2 of them in.
Yeah, I have.
Rob, what about you?
I got 3 of them in. I think Houston makes it in, man.
In Cleveland, and Cleveland's not ready yet?
I think that there's a lot of teams out east that are starting off slow, and they're going to pick it up as the season progresses, such as.
Let me poke the bear right quick. Are the Knicks one of them?
Talking to John?
Who else am I talking to?
Should leave it up to me. Keep playing away. Let's say we number 1 in defensive rating. We're number 1 in points allowed against us. We're number 1 on 3-point percentages against us.
And you're number 30. Right, you're number 30 at what?
Defense win championship.
Number 30 at what? Number 30 at what?
And off. The defense win championship. The defense win championship. That's what Tibbs told me.
All right, Tibbs told you that, but how many minutes is RJ playing a game?
Young.
How many minutes is Julius Randle playing a game?
Listen, it's dropped. It's dropped. Tibbs noticed that, and now as opposed
Tibbs
to averaging
noticed that
38 minutes, they're averaging 36.
Tibbs noticed that. Somebody came down from the Raptors and told Tibbs, like, yo, bro, you gotta chill.
Yeah, I mean,
we don't even know if we want to win this year yet.
Obi Toppin came back, and Emmanuel Quickly is playing now.
Yeah, Emmanuel Quickly is definitely
that's a sleeper, bro.
Yeah.
Emmanuel Quickly is a sleeper for me. I think he's going to take Eva Payton's job. You heard it from me first. Every time I see Eva Payton, I'm like,
it's not a hard job to take. But what's the next basketball topic? We kind of ran away with this one. Producer, how much time we got left for the whole basketball segment? 2 minutes. My goodness, John, you sure can talk? Huh?
You got time for Lakers, right?
I got time for a Nets.
I wish you would have a Lakers
for a Nets piece.
I wish you would have.
Yeah, you go Lakers first.
Go ahead, talk about Lakers.
I got a Nets piece.
Cause I got one word. 19.
What's that?
Points that they had against the Golden State Warriors. Steph Curry put a dagger in Anthony Davis again.
You live for the.
You know what's crazy?
I live for y'all hating on the Warriors. I live for y'all hating. Y'all Warriors.
Hey, I'm not a Warrior hater. Who did I say might win MVP this year? And I'm still sticking to it. I got Curry win the MVP this year. If they make the playoffs, Curry going to sneak that MVP away from KD,
gonna stick away from a lot of other people because he put the team on his back though. And I never had hate for Golden State Warriors. I got so and I if you really want me to get into it, I get into it. Let me get into it. We got 1 minute. I'm gonna get into it. Listen, man. I'm gonna say this as a fan, right? Say this as a fan. As an individual, you have the ability as a person to deal with your happiness first. Your happiness should always come first. Granted, you got a job, people pay you a lot of money, but in any situation, whether that be a relationship or in these basketball situations, your happiness should come first. And we don't know what's happening. We see them on the court for, 10 hours a week. We don't know what's happening in the cities. We don't know what's happening in their hearts. We don't know what's happening in their homes. And for KD, Kyrie, and James Harden, they all had a situation where it looked like everything was good. There was brotherhood, there was friendship, there was a whole city behind them, and they weren't happy. Happiness came with championships in their eyes. Granted, I understand that. And you have the ability to make that decision. We don't have to like how you make the decision. We don't have to like how you make the decision. Whether that be Kyrie telling Boston that he loves and then he hates, or not love that he hates, but he's going to stay and then he leaves. Whether that be KD leaving to go to the best team that had just beat him, or whether that be James Harden who just says, yo, F this, I don't feel like doing this year. I'm going to go enjoy my bros. What you have to understand is, as those players, you got to understand that people are going to deal with their grief differently. When it was the LeBron era, they were burning jerseys. When it was the Kawhi era, they were burning jerseys. People are sad. People are hurt. I was an OKC fan. I was distraught to see him go to Golden State after he was up 3-1 to them. So people are going to deal with the way that they grieve differently. And they have to be managed.